Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to be going over part 2 to the video I did just a few days ago titled More Teens Going Their Own Way. And in case you didn't see that video, guys, that video was a response to a young subscriber who was asking my advice on things that he can do at 16 years old to help him on his path to going his own way, being his own man, and things like that. Now, because he's 16 and he wasn't legally an adult in the United States, obviously his options were limited, but I gave him a bunch of things that he could definitely do to help him out. Today is going to be part 2 of what a young guy can do between the ages of 18 and 22 to help him on his path of going his own way, being his own man. Because over the decades, guys, this has definitely been lost, okay? Young guys used to go their own way early on. It was taught by their fathers and their uncles and mentors. But that stopped being the case, and you had more and more boys raised by single moms. They didn't have that male role model to help them out. So I'm trying to help you guys out here. And as a quick recap as to what the other video was about, real quick, if you didn't see it, I basically told him, number one, at 16 years old or 16, 17, or 18, make sure you get your own bank account. Go down to the bank, get your own account, get your own checkbook, so you can start putting money away and having it for yourself. Number two, I told him to get a part-time job. Okay, it doesn't have to be huge, but just something that you can make some money off of. It builds character, teaches lessons about money. Start putting some money away in that checking account, watching it grow. Another thing I told him about was really figure out what he wants to do in terms of once he turns 18, college, military, trade school, to figure that out, so forth. Another one I told him to do was get his license, driver's license, because you got to get to the job somehow, and it's important to have those skills. Okay, as a man, you need to have your license. And there was something else, but I can't remember what it was. Now today, I'm going to get into all the things that can be done between the ages of 18 and 22. And so right off the bat, guys, and I forgot this one from the other day, early on, whether you're 16 or 18, whatever it is, start working out. Get a gym membership. Start taking care of yourself physically. A lot of guys start letting themselves go. If they were athletes in high school, they go to college and they start drinking and partying, eating like shit. And you have these guys that in high school, they were in good shape, or maybe they did sports. And after a few years of college, they're fat as fuck. So early on, get these skills in place where you're going to a gym and working out, doing cardio, working out with the weights. If you don't like the gym, be out riding your bike or jogging or doing something. If you don't like that stuff, maybe joining a martial arts school to learn some skills. Boxing, kickboxing, you name it. Something physical activity to burn the calories, keep yourself in shape, in good health. Because guys, it is easy. It's very easy to put on weight, but it is hard to take it off, okay? So I'm saving you this problem. Not to mention the fact that you're going to look better if you're thin and healthy and in shape. But if you look better, you're going to feel better, okay? And later on down the road, you're going to save a lot of money on healthcare costs by keeping yourself in shape. This is a good thing to start early on. Next one, developing a credit history. Guys, pretty much in this day and age, you need to have good credit to get where you want to be, okay? Whether you are buying a car and you obviously can't have all the money to pay for it outright, you got to take a loan. And your credit history will determine what kind of interest rate you get on that car loan. Therefore, you want to have good credit score. And it also goes when you want to buy a house. It even goes if you want to rent an apartment. If you want to rent an apartment for your first apartment and you don't have a good credit history or you have a lousy credit score, you may not get that apartment. Or let's just say you were going to get the apartment and you fill out the application and the apartment's a good place and it's in high demand. Even if you have an okay credit score, if somebody else that wants that apartment has a great credit score, the likelihood is the landlord is going to go for that guy. Okay, so you want to make sure you have a good credit score. How do you do that? I would recommend right away when you're 18, get a credit card. Okay? It doesn't have to be a huge balance because you're obviously young and you're starting out. You're not going to get much of a balance. You might get $500. You might get $800, $1,000. Make sure you do your research. Make sure you find one that has a low APR and minimal bullshit involved. And get that credit card in your name, of course. And every month, use it just for a little bit. So let's just say you get a $500 limit. I would use $50 to $100 max. Just use it for gas for your car or just some little bullshit. That's it. And every month you pay it on time. No exceptions. You can't pay late. If you pay late, it can get reported to the credit card agency. The the credit agencies, and it can have a negative impact on your credit score. But if every month you pay it on time, you're building good credit, and that shows that you're reliable. And as time goes on, the credit card companies will probably raise your limit. So if you got $500 in the beginning, they might raise it to $750, then $1,000, then $1,500. Or you might get a second credit card and the same thing. Just use it for a little bit. It is not meant for you to rack it up so you can then go out and impress some girl with some expensive dinner or buy a bunch of video games or some bullshit like that. No, use it as a tool to help build your credit. So that way, over the years when you're in college or at trade school, whatever, that's building up. So by the time you're truly on your own in your early 20s, you've got yourself a decent credit score. You got a few credit cards with a decent balance, a different way you can use, and you're in a good place. Okay, very important, that credit score. Start when you're young, but don't fuck it up. Pay it on time, no exceptions. Can't make that any more clear. Next one. Now that you're 18, make sure you get a better part-time job while you are going to school or the trade school or whatever, okay? Obviously, when you're 16, you're not an illegal adult, so options are limited. So it's okay to get that job at Domino's Pizza or some job in the mall. I don't know what it is, but that's okay. You're making some money. Now that you're 18, a legal adult, if you're going to school, make sure you get the best paying job you can get for your skills and your age. So let's just say that you're a good multitasker. Consider getting a job in a restaurant. A restaurant in particular that serves alcohol, because that'll be a more expensive bill, okay? And you can make better tips. If you're a very good multitasker, you could do that part-time while you're in college. You can do it during the summer, but make sure you get something better. If that's not for you, perhaps something in construction or something else that you obviously have to be 18 for, or if you have some special skills. My nephew, his senior year of high school, he was 18, he got a job working in a bike store. And he and his dad had been doing bike stuff their whole lives. He could fix any bike, knew all the parts, all the tools, and he got a better paying job than other guys his age because of those skills. So use those skills as an advantage. And when you have this part-time job, all throughout this age range of 18 through 22, during this, let's just say you're in college, during that time, do what you can in terms of hours, as long as you can keep up with your grades. You want to do well in college, obviously. So if you can swing 20 hours during the weekend during college, then do it and get the best possible job and put that money away. Okay? And in the summertime, when you're not in school and if you're not taking a summer class, you got to be on your grind. Okay? No fucking around. I'm talking 40 hours a week and even more if you can. Save as much money as you can and put it away. Put in that bank account, and I'll get to what you can do with it next. All right? That's the best thing you can do. Next thing, and this is no particular order, guys, get a passport. Okay? For you guys that are in school, a lot of programs will offer an opportunity to go overseas, and that's an awesome opportunity on so many levels. I would highly recommend doing it. Just make sure it works out for you. Don't go pissing away your money if it's not beneficial towards your degree and all that. Get a passport. You can go down to the post office. There's other places you can go. It'll cost you a little bit of money. Get your picture taken, fill out the application, and probably within a few weeks to a month, depending, you'll get your passport. It's good for 10 years. Well worth the investment. Have it there because you just never know. Another one, guys. At 18 years old, you're going to have to figure out what you want to do with your life, okay? Whether that's going to college, a trade school, developing those skills, or the military. If you're going to go to college, if you can swing it to say it's not too far from where you live, consider going to a community college for 1 or 2 years. You'll save a lot more money compared to going to a 4-year school. But make sure when you do it that you know for a fact, and you can find out from the admissions office and all that, do they have arrangements and deals with other 4-year schools that you can easily transfer over, that you're not going to lose too much of your credits that you worked hard for in the community college, okay? There's no shame in doing so. It's a lot cheaper, and you'll be happy in the end later on down the road in terms of the bills you're going to have to pay for the student loans. When you choose that school, major in something that's going to be useful. There's going to be a demand for. I said that in the other video, okay? A very common thing that has a lot of demand for is business. Varying levels of business. If you're not sure what you want to do yet, which a lot of people don't know what they want to do, at least get the ball rolling and major in business and just see what happens, okay? If you're going to do something, if you want to do something else, not in business, like say you want to be a doctor, then obviously you can be majoring in the sciences and all that. And you got to be serious about that. And if, by the way, if you want a job like that one day, a career as a doctor or a lawyer or something that involves advanced degrees, see if you can talk to people that have those jobs. Find out from them, talk to them firsthand what it takes to not only get to that place, but also to be able to do it. It's really important, okay? Because you may find out it's not what it's cracked up to be, okay? Because, I mean, let's be honest here. You're young. What the hell do you know? So talk to as many people as you can that have jobs that you're interested in to see what they have to say about it. It's worth your time. If you don't know anybody, ask your parents. I'm sure they know somebody that can help you out. And most people are cool and be happy to help you out. But make sure you're, again, majoring in something that's going to have a demand for when you're out of there. Okay, if you're majoring in psychology, unless you're going on to be an actual therapist or psychiatrist or something like that, it's not very sensible to do that for a 4-year degree. Okay. If you're going to go to a trade, again, make sure the trade, depending on how long that trade school is, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I'm not 100% sure how that goes. Again, make sure it's something that's useful and there's always a demand for, okay? If you decide to go to the military, that's a very honorable thing to go. Make sure you're serious, not only about going there to obviously help you out with some skills, but you're honest about serving your country. Don't go in there with this half-ass attitude that, hey, I can go there for a few years, learn some skills, and get my college paid for. No. You go in there, they own your ass, okay? They tell you where to go, where to live, when you're on vacation, everything, okay? Be serious about serving your country because your ass could be shipped overseas and you could be in danger, okay? I don't want any half-ass shit going on here. Be serious about that, okay? And if you're serious about that and serving your country and doing your part to help, I applaud you for that. And also, you can then obviously get a living out of that, and also then skills you can develop and things to help you when you get out and in college and all that. So consider one of those three. Another one, guys, and this is really important, get an emergency fund. Guys, in life, shit is going to happen, okay? Your car is going to break down. Your dog or cat's going to get sick. Who the hell knows? You got to have money for those emergencies. And borrowing money from your family or your friends is a very slippery slope, okay? I don't care how good of a relationship you have with your family or your friends. The second money's involved, it changes the whole dynamic. So it's better to have money saved up in your bank account to pay for when shit happens. Trust me on this. And you definitely don't want to rack up your credit cards when an emergency comes and you can't pay them on time, and then you rack up all these interest and late charges and hammer your credit. Okay, you don't want to do that. So, if that means, obviously through your part-time job that you have during school or whatever, that you need to make some sacrifices in the short term to save up that money, then you got to do it. If that means less fun with your friends or less money for fun things, and by the way, in this list I'm giving you guys, there is time for fun. There is room for that. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't have to be all business, but most of your time has got to be business. Becoming the man you want to be and going on your own path takes dedication and work. And most, let's be honest here, people that are young tend to fuck around. So you don't want to do that. But again, back to the emergency fund. Now, in this age range of the 18 to 22, the odds are either A, you're living at home and commuting to school, you're in the dorms and that's paid for by your student loans, or you're in the military and you obviously are being paid by Uncle Sam and have housing and all that. You don't need to have a gigantic emergency fund as if you were later in life on your own, had your own mortgage and all these responsibilities. But I would recommend definitely starting off with trying to get $500 in the bank just in case. And when you get that $500, bump it up to $1,000, okay? And then bump that number to $2,000 and so forth, okay? Grow that amount that you have easily accessible if shit goes down, okay? You need that money, okay? Like I said, you don't want to borrow from your friends and family or rack up the credit cards. Later in life, when you obviously have a lot more things on your plate, more responsibilities like a mortgage and a car loan and all these other big things, or people you're responsible for, you want to have obviously a much bigger number. You know, they talk about some people say it's good to have 6 months of living expenses saved. Some people say a year. It all depends. And I'm going to do a whole video on that later on down the road, really getting into that, helping you out. All right, another one, guys. Start studying about finance. Start reading some books on personal finance, investing, things like that. Okay, it's never too young. I developed a passion for that when I was 19 years old. I love that stuff. And I immersed myself in books, learning everything I could, talking to my dad about investing. So when I was 21 years old on my birthday, he and I went down. I opened my first Roth IRA. I opened my first brokerage account with money I had. And I started investing at 21. And that has ballooned since. And it was a great bonding experience with my dad. Point is, read, educate yourself, learn everything you can early on, okay? It's true that most of the important shit you need in life, they don't teach in school. You got to learn on your own. And when I was a kid, we didn't have YouTube, so you can learn a lot of good stuff through YouTube videos and good channels out there. Oh, and by the way, I forgot this, guys. If you guys are in college, with your degree, you're going to have a lot of electives you can take. If you can take things that you're already paying for, and if there's a choice between taking a psychology class or a sociology class or taking a foreign language, take the foreign language, Spanish particular. Learn it. If you got to pay for it and it's on the curriculum, take the foreign language, learn to speak Spanish. That will help you out in this country, because it is what it is and the direction things are going, okay? Another one. For those of you that have a dream of one day starting your own business, I applaud you, okay? It is not for everyone. I'm telling you now. You need to have drive and ambition. You got to have good skills at what you're doing, and you got to have a stomach for risk. If you have all those, then you can do it. If you have a dream about starting a business and you're something you're really good at or really passionate about, I would recommend that in this age range of 18 to 22, that let's just say, for instance, you love fitness. You want to be a personal trainer, but you want to work on your own. Get a job in a gym. Learn how things are done in the gym as a personal trainer, working with the clients, seeing how that works on the gym's dime, okay? When I first started at the gym, I didn't want to work in a gym forever. I wanted to work for myself. I worked in the gym for a few years, learned how things operated, learned my style with clients. I learned I didn't like teaching classes. I learned I was great one-on-one. These are things I learned at their expense, okay? When I was ready, I left, and clients came with me, and here we go. All right, it's not that hard. But make sure when you do it, if you work for a job and you're seeing how things are done with the idea of doing something like that one day, make sure you don't sign a non-competition clause when you do it. A lot of places are going to have you do that, and I'm telling you right now, that could derail your plans if you leave, and you then could get sued by them for doing that. But like I said, work for a place, see how things are done, and it will definitely help you out and gain that education. So not only are you getting paid to do that job, but you're observing and seeing how things are done. And you might find out you don't want to do it at all, okay? But you want to start that business also, guys, and I'm going to do a whole video on starting a small business down the road, okay? I'm just doing a little bit here. But again, read books about being an entrepreneur. Read books about starting your own business. Talk to people that have their own businesses. Find out those people. Find out everything that they know about it. Have a good mentor to help you out, okay? You can do it, but you need to, again, have a stomach for risk. You need to be really good at a certain thing, and you also have that drive and ambition, because starting a business is not easy, okay? I mean, it's easy to get started, but it's hard to make it successful, okay? Just letting you know. Again, I'm only covering the absolute bare minimum here about starting a business, but you can do it. But again, start thinking about it, okay? I'll do a whole video down the road about all the details to start a small business down the road. Another one. So after you have done everything you can in terms of having the part-time job, you have the checking account. A checking account helps pay your bills for, your car insurance, your gas, whatever you may have. Okay, once all that's done, and also the savings account that you got several $1,000s in the bank just in case shit happens, at that point then I'd recommend going down and opening a IRA, a retirement account, or a brokerage fund, or both. Okay, IRAs are an individual retirement account. There's two types. There's the traditional IRA, where you then, let's just say you contribute $2,000 a year from that. You can take $2,000 as a tax deduction, but later on down the road when you take the money out of the IRA, you got to pay taxes. The Roth IRA, which is better in my opinion, is you take that money, that's your after-tax money, you open the Roth IRA, you put the money in there, there's limits to how much money you can put in per year, okay? But let's just say in college, you can only afford to put in $2,000 per year, fine. Put that $2,000 in and invest it any way you want. You start young with this investment. Let's just say you're 19 years old, 20 years old. You have decades to watch it grow. The earlier you start, the better it is, okay? And you can invest it any way you like. If you're young, I recommend you invest in high-risk things, because you have all these decades to, if let's just say there was a market downturn or something like that, it'll bounce back. It always does, and it will continue to grow, okay? But do it young. The younger you start, the better it is. Everybody that's older will tell you that. It's worth doing so. And of course, with the Roth IRA, when you're done with it and you eventually take that money out in retirement, which given how things are, you'll be in your 70s at that point, because I forget, right now it's in the late 60s, but let's be honest, as people live older, the retirement age is going to go up. So it'll be in the 70s. You won't have to pay taxes on the profits you make from that. So that's the great part about that, the Roth IRA. So definitely do that. But again, do that after you have everything put away for the savings account, the emergency fund, after all the bills are paid, and all that stuff, okay? Absolutely. And at the same time, if you're saving a lot of money during the summer or whatever it is from your part-time job when you're in school, or extra money you've made, say you're in the military and you have extra money left over, if you've done all you can in terms of the IRA, because they have limits how much you can put in per year, then you can open a brokerage account, and then you can put whatever you want into index funds and things like that, But again, I would talk to people that do this, find out more about what they do, and just, knowledge is power. The more people you ask and learn from, the better you are. And last but not least, during these important years of 18 to 22, do not get any crazy serious relationships, okay, with women, because that will derail a lot of your plans. Women are going to get in the way, I'm telling you now. I got no problem with dating and hooking up and all that fun, but your purpose should be all your goals and your ambitions. Women should be at the bottom of the list, okay? And keep in mind this, when you're at that age, the 18 to 22 range, guys, I'm sorry, but you are the low man on the totem pole, because all the hot chicks that are in that age range, believe me, they're going for older guys. It's the older guys that are getting them, the guys in their mid to late 20s, if not older. But focus on your purpose, go on your own path, and this is what you want later in time. You're doing well for yourself, you got money, you have success and all that. You're going to be able to get these girls when you are in your late 20s and 30s and all that. But right now, focus on all these goals. And don't fucking get married. A lot of you young guys will go in the military and see all these movies about people falling in love and getting married in the military wedding and all that shit. Don't get married, okay? Especially if you're in the military. I've done many videos on that, what happens if you do. You all know that, but I'm just making clear. So again, these are the things you can do between 18 and 22 that will definitely help you on your path to being your own man. Oh, by the way, if in this time period, if you are in college or you are in a trade school, if you can live at home for as long as you can during those years and save money, I highly recommend you do it, okay? That means less money you got to take out in terms of student loans while you are, instead of living in the dorms, you live with your family. But if you have a good relationship with your parents and they're cool with you living there, do it. Save the fucking money, okay? You'll thank yourself later on in time. Okay, you can put that's more money you can put aside in your savings account, IRA, brokerage account, and all that. Believe me, you'll be in a better place. However, if your parents are driving you crazy or it's a toxic environment and you got to get out of there, then that's a different ballgame. But if it's a decent situation, take advantage of it, okay? A lot of people may say, oh, you're not your own man till you're in your own place. But I would say, given the expenses of college and all that, I would say at least for a few years, save that money. So maybe when you're 21, if you want to go to your own place at that point, maybe with one of your friends as a roommate, okay. But you've done a couple of years where you saved your money and all that. Just something to consider. So, all right, guys, that's the 18 to 22 range. In a few days, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do one from 22 up. Things for life to help you guys out. So, all right, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.